8:30 a.m. on this Sunday morning, January 4th, 2026. Well, we've got quite a few kittens up here this morning. So far, things are going alright, although Oreo is up here doing his typical growling and whatnot. And then we've got this one here that, once again, I am not familiar with. But we seem to be, you're okay. There we go. We seem to be able to connect with it, if you will. I've been able to pet it a couple of times. But again, I am not familiar with this cat. Okay, and we've got others that are slowly moving in. You better eat up, Oreo. I got a feeling Wolf is on his way. Right, buddy? Hey, you're okay. You're alright. It's okay. Okay? Just behave yourself, okay? Alright? Hey, behave. It's just Batsy. It's just Batsy. Okay, here. Let's go ahead. Alright, guys. Not really what I was out to do this morning. Recording the cats. What you doing, China? You over here messing with the birds already? Before I've even gotten a chance to feed them? Which the Blue Jays, of course, are already coming up. So we'll go ahead and get them taken care of right quick. And I know I'm going to be followed over here. Oh, hear them? They're excited. Well, I got a couple of things I want to discuss. Because I am quite beside myself this morning. Come on, guys. Let's get on back over here. Okay? Yeah. Come on, my lady. Let's go on back over here. There you go. Everybody's back over to the feeding area. Easy now. Easy. So, I need to bring this about because I am quite, like I said, beside myself over some information that came about through a little bit of research this morning, and to where it is highly doubtful that I will go to the Google search engine any longer for information because of the factor that AI continues to lie in whatever categories that I am trying to search for information. And I've also found out what one of the main missions for AI is. Okay, and this is irritating because it's already starting to reprogram the thinking process of people, especially those that have been labeled as so-called conspiracy theorists. Yes, AI has been programmed to squash those people that think for themselves through open-mindedness with a little bit of skepticism tossed in. Those people that are claimed as being theorists, when many of them are actually trying to stick to the facts over this, that, and the other thing. AI is out to protect certain individuals of the elite community, such as Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci. Because when it comes down to those two guys alone, anything that you research anymore through the Google search engine, and you will find conspiracy theorists this, conspiracy theories that, over and over. So I decided, okay, let's go just a little bit farther. And And I actually asked, why hasn't something been done against Bill Gates and the food products, his food products, that have been deemed as poisonous? Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. There has been no proof that either Bill Gates has done anything wrong ever, and likewise with Anthony Fauci. They have never done anything wrong. Okay? Now, here comes the proof in the pudding of what I speak. Since the onset of AI, there has already been a reduction of 20% of online theories, conspiracy theories. And once again, the word conspiracy has been taken so far out of context today, it is unbelievable. Because conspiracy means an evil plot against an individual or groups of individuals. Okay? What the hell was 2019 all about? What about all these statistics over blood clots, heart failures, and so on and so forth, over the so-called remedies from 2019? Okay, now let's go just a little bit further, because I've been hearing a lot of other words being tossed around, and one being that of dictator or dictatorship. Let's behave over here. Okay? What is a dictator? Simply put, it is a leader that dictates how things will be, and no one really has a choice under that leadership. Well, our choices are becoming very limited today. There are so many control measures and systems out there, such as now artificial intelligence, which is, once again, programmed in aspects of controlling the population. And then when you go into asking questions as far as AI and the human population and the future of said human population, okay, and what is going to come about, because now we're going back into this religious movement of this thing called Christianity. And of course, we're supposed to be expecting the return of the Messiah or Jesus or what have you. And how are we supposed to take this in this age of digital technology when they are doing so many genetic experiments, test tube babies, designer pets, all through gene manipulation? And how is this being conducted now? Through AI and robotics. So what are we to expect in the future with so-called prophecies? Okay, now this factor of the arrest of Maduro and his wife, because of, well, did they step foot on this country's soil and commit crimes? No. So that's one beef that I have right there. Okay, but you have to consider that the country right next door to Venezuela back in the 1970s was highly under scrutiny because, after all, do you remember Colombian gold? One of the legendary strains of marijuana? And it came from the mountains within Colombia. So what, is Colombia going to be next Even though, of course, marijuana is sort of somewhat legal here now. But, gee, maybe Venezuelan uh, drug lords or whatever. Well, there's just nothing that one country does on its own anymore. So are we going into Colombia next and those other neighboring countries that might be or have done business with Venezuela? Who's next on the chopping block? Trump's chopping block. Because even though he had issues with with Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates in the past, in which those two really tried to not have RFK Jr. placed into an authority position, but that happened. But yet, still, nothing is being done against those two guys. And now I find out that AI is actually protecting them. Yeah. Uh-uh. Come on. We know better than this now, right, Betsy? Leave the birds alone. All right. So, once again, is there a list of countries now that need to fall under America's power and dictatorship? Well, we've seen in the past this fellow named, well, actually, he had a simple name of Gaddafi. But yet, there was 3 different spellings to it. And what happened to that country that he was the leader of after he was taken out? And yes, I believe, regardless of what was aired through his assassination, if you will, that was actually an American operation. And it seems as though most any leaders that's been taken out is through the powers of America. So when it comes down to where these news media outlets are making the claim of America attacked, that is exactly what it boils down to. And we will continue to attack those countries that will not comply with this so-called superpower of a country. Which I think a lot of that rhetoric is a heaping pile of BS. Because as far as I'm concerned, we are becoming a weaker nation and will become just that much more because of the onset of AI and robotics. Of course, a lot of jobs will be lost. You look at to what AI is talking about. You go on to Reddit, and the year 2027, everybody is talking about that year, just like I have stated, 2 years ago at least, that would be a very troubling year. And nothing's going to get easier, people. And we have a jet aircraft flying overhead. We are to be like this all day long, supposedly. They say cloudy conditions, but there's no clouds. It's just one perma-cloud. And of course, this recording will probably show otherwise, because anymore, since the onset of AI, you can't trust what you see, even through raw recordings now. Don't do it. I'm telling you. You leave them alone. Come on. Yes. See, that's what you hear them? Keep going. Go on back over there. So yeah. Okay, I guess that's enough ranting for right now. I am just disgusted with where this country is going and how it is trying to control all other countries. You know, basically, in my personal opinion, I believe that all countries should go back to being sovereign countries of their own. That all countries should be self-reliant and independent from all other countries. That there should not be any type of United Nations or what have you. What are you looking at? Who's up there? There's nobody up there. No, and I've said many a times throughout my life, because of being an observationist of this, that, and anything and everything else, I am ashamed to be an American and have been for years and years and years because of how this country conducts itself with other countries. And this is another example that has occurred through Venezuela. And of course, you know, there you go. I only give so many warnings. Yeah. And of course, got Greystoke once again. Little Miss Tarzan up in the tree, trying to keep her feet off the snow and get warm, if you will. Oh, and as far as weather, right now, as far as this morning, they were trying to give a future forecast, you know, the 7-day future forecast, and not able to do it because the American weather models are not aligning with the European weather models. And so they're only able to basically, so-called, predict the weather for the next 3 to 5 days, but not really beyond that because there's just too much confusion amongst the weather models. Or is it just a factor that the controllers are not being forthcoming with the operations as to what to expect? Or maybe they're actually starting to lose control over the manipulations, the modifications through geoengineering, cloud seeding, and all that good stuff. Yeah. So have I given you anything to think about today? Have you stopped being a theorist? I try to stick to the facts myself. The facts through my observations, right? Through my raw recordings. But once again, with the onset of AI, how much longer can we even trust raw recordings? Because after all, for a few years now, through my sky observations, the sky gets heavily pixelated and whitewashed to where details are lost. And that is occurring more and more. Why? Because the sky is off limits. Because too much takes place up there anymore. And so we got to stop those theorists. And they're using AI to do just that. A 20% drop already. Yeah, think about it, people. Control, control, control. And that's all this planet is about. And all this rhetoric of peace, this planet has never known such a thing, especially from country to country and people to people. And it will never be peaceful, regardless of the control systems to be implemented in the future. Even through depopulation, because after all, they claim lower numbers are easier to what? Control. All right, before I get myself too worked up, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Wow. Standing out here, and boy, I can smell the pleasant odor of ganja already this morning. Morning, Wolf. Boy, you're actually walking around her? Wow, that's radical. I have never seen Wolf actually do that. She must be something else. I'm gathering up my stuff, headed in, and I'm going to get this uploading process begun. More than likely, I will not come out with any further content today because, once again, we are to be under these conditions according to those weather reports. And I'm burnout. We'll be back at some other given point in time when I actually have something that you might actually enjoy to watch, such as these creations that occur in the skies overhead through the activities that occur in the skies overhead. Until then, take care. Have yourselves a great one. Much love to you all. And thank you ever so kindly for watching.